Spicy Lady Sigma females. Have you ever found yourself wondering, how can I make him think about me all the time? You know that intoxicating feeling when someone occupies your every thought. Now, imagine you being that person for him. What if I told you there's a way to slip into his mind and stay there effortlessly, authentically, and irresistibly? This isn't about manipulation or playing hard to get in a cliché way. It's about locking the kind of energy that makes you unforgettable. Here's the thing. Most women think the secret to capturing a man's attention lies in looking perfect, saying the right words, or keeping him guessing. That's the misconception society feeds us. But trust me, the real magic is in how you make him feel. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room or the most perfect version of yourself. You simply need to understand a few powerful psychological principles, which I'm about to reveal to you in this video. I'll walk you through 9 transformative steps, small but impactful shifts you can make to not only get into his head but stay there. These are strategies rooted in authenticity, emotional connection, and self-confidence. By the end, you'll see just how naturally you can draw him closer without chasing, overthinking, or compromising your self-worth. Are you ready? Let's dive into the first secret that makes a man's mind race with thoughts of you. 1. Start with the power of curiosity. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you left someone truly curious about you? Think about it. When we're drawn to someone, it's not because we know everything about them. It's because we don't. The unknown is captivating. And if you can master the art of intrigue, you'll find yourself living rent-free in his thoughts. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine meeting someone who doesn't overshare or rush to tell their life story. Instead, they leave you little breadcrumbs, just enough to make you want to learn more. That's the energy we're channeling here. Being mysterious doesn't mean being secretive or distant. It means offering enough of yourself to spark curiosity while keeping parts of your world sacred. For example, let's say he asks about your weekend plans. Instead of giving him a play-by-play of your Saturday, you might say, "I have something exciting planned. I'll tell you how it goes." Notice how this response is light, playful, and leaves him wondering. He doesn't know what you're up to, and that tiny detail sticks in his mind. He'll wonder, what is she doing? Who is she with? What's her life like? Curiosity is magnetic. It's human nature to want to fill in the blanks, and when you create just enough of a gap, he'll mentally try to bridge it. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but isn't being open and honest the best way to connect? Yes, vulnerability is crucial, and we'll get to that, but pacing matters. Think of it like a great book. You wouldn't hand someone the ending before they've turned the first few pages. Here's a challenge for you. The next time you're talking to him, hold back just a little. Let the conversation flow naturally but leave something unsaid. Share something surprising or unexpected about yourself, something that sparks his imagination. Maybe it's a hobby he didn't expect you to have, or a story about a trip that changed your perspective. The goal isn't to impress, it's to pique his interest. Another layer to this is body language. When you're mysterious, your actions should align with your words. A sly smile, a subtle pause, or a lingering glance can all communicate volumes without saying a word. Combine this with your words, and you'll leave him replaying your interactions in his head long after they're over. Now, let's talk about why curiosity works so well. It ties into Stoicism, a philosophy centered on self-mastery and emotional regulation. When you embrace your own sense of calm and mystery, you naturally exude confidence. You're not oversharing out of nervousness or trying to sell yourself to him. Instead, you're rooted in the knowledge that you're enough, just as you are. That kind of self-assuredness is rare and deeply attractive. Stoicism teaches us that we don't need to chase or demand attention. Instead, we focus on being so intriguing that attention comes to us. When you cultivate this aura of curiosity, you're not only making him think about you, you're inviting him to chase the answers to the questions you've left unanswered. And here's the kicker. Curiosity isn't just for him. When you spark it in him, it also deepens your own sense of self-awareness. You start to realize how much depth you truly have, how interesting and multifaceted you are. You're not just playing the game, you're stepping into your power. Now, let me ask you, are you ready to embrace the mystery? Imagine the thrill of leaving him intrigued, wondering, and wanting more. The power of curiosity is yours to command, but don't stop here. There are 8 more steps to go, and trust me, it only gets better from here. Stay with me as we unravel the next layer of emotional connection that will keep you on his mind day and night. 2. Master the art of emotional anchoring. What if I told you there's a secret to making a man not just think about you but feel you even when you're not around? It's about emotional anchoring. Imagine this. Every time he hears a certain song, smells a familiar scent, or even experiences a specific feeling, he's reminded of you. Sounds powerful, right? That's because it is. Emotional anchoring is how you create lasting impressions that tie you to his most cherished memories. So, how do you do it? Let's break it down step by step. First, understand this fundamental truth. People don't remember every detail about us, but they never forget how we make them feel. If you can create moments with him that are deeply emotional, whether exciting, comforting, or even thrilling, you'll leave a mark he can't erase. These emotions become anchors, tied to you, pulling his thoughts back to you time and time again. Let's look at an example. Have you ever had a moment so full of laughter it made your stomach hurt? Maybe it was a joke only the two of you understood, or a silly situation you couldn't stop laughing about. These aren't just fun experiences, they're anchors. Every time he thinks of joy, spontaneity, or freedom, he'll think of you. Here's where the magic happens. Emotional anchors can be created intentionally. The key is to tap into a variety of emotions during your time together. You want to build an emotional tapestry: joy, excitement, intimacy, and even moments of deep vulnerability. Think about the times you've truly felt connected to someone. Was it during a shared adventure like trying something new together? Or maybe it was a quiet conversation where you felt seen and understood. These are the kinds of moments you want to create with him. For example, why not suggest doing something out of the ordinary on your next date? A spontaneous road trip, a thrilling outdoor activity, or even cooking a meal together from scratch. Anything that sparks excitement and makes the moment unforgettable. These experiences stick because they're tied to strong emotions, and he'll replay them in his mind over and over. But emotional anchoring isn't just about the big, dramatic moments. It's also about the small, consistent gestures that make him feel something powerful. A compliment he doesn't expect, a note tucked into his pocket, or even a shared look across the room. It's about making him feel appreciated, respected, and seen. One of the most underrated ways to create an emotional anchor is through touch. I'm not talking about anything over the top, just subtle, meaningful gestures. A light touch on his arm during a conversation, brushing a strand of hair out of your face, or holding his gaze a beat longer than usual. These actions, combined with the right emotional tone, can make a moment linger in his mind. Now, let's get a bit more advanced. Have you ever thought about tying specific experiences or emotions to physical objects or sensations? This is where the concept of emotional triggers comes in. For instance, wearing a signature perfume that becomes your scent in his mind. Every time he smells it, even if you're not around, it brings you back to him. Or maybe you both have a favorite song, and every time he hears it, he can't help but think of the moments you shared. There's even a stoic element to this. In Stoicism, emotional control and awareness are paramount, but that doesn't mean emotions are absent. Instead, they're purposeful. When you anchor his emotions to you, you're showing him that connection isn't about chaos or drama, it's about meaning. You're creating a bond that feels intentional and authentic. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, what if he doesn't respond right away? Remember, emotional anchoring isn't about instant gratification. It's about planting seeds that grow over time. The memories you create today will echo in his mind tomorrow, next week, and even years from now. So, spicy Lady Sigma females, here's a challenge for you. What's one way you can create an unforgettable moment with him this week? Think about something unique that taps into a strong emotion and make it happen. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It just has to be meaningful. And if you're finding this helpful, I need you to do me a favor right now. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments below if you're loving these tips so far. Your feedback fuels me to keep sharing these secrets with you. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning. We're diving even deeper into the kind of wisdom that turns connection into something magnetic. Imagine what's waiting for you in the next steps. Stay tuned because the secrets to capturing his mind and heart are just getting started. So, are you ready to create the emotional anchors that keep him thinking of you? Let me know in the comments what your favorite tip is so far, and let's keep this conversation going. I promise you won't want to miss what's coming next. 3. Be confidently independent. Let me ask you something. What's more captivating than a woman who knows exactly who she is and isn't afraid to own it? There's a magnetic quality about independence, a quiet confidence that speaks volumes without ever saying a word. It's not about pushing people away or being overly self-reliant. It's about radiating the kind of energy that says, "I'm whole on my own, but I'd love to share my world with you." Men are naturally drawn to women who have their own lives, passions, and goals. Why? Because independence is a signal of strength and self-assurance. When you're genuinely happy with yourself, it creates an irresistible pull. He'll see you as someone he wants to be a part of, not someone who needs him to complete her. Think of the last time you admired someone deeply. Wasn't it because they had something about them that was uniquely theirs? Maybe it was their dedication to their career, their hobbies, or the way they lit up when talking about their dreams. That spark of individuality is what makes a person unforgettable. And here's the truth, you have that within you, too. Being confidently independent starts with nurturing your passions, what sets your soul on fire. Whether it's painting, traveling, writing, fitness, or even a quirky collection of houseplants, pour your energy into what you love. Not only does this bring you joy, but it also shows him that you're a woman who knows her worth and lives it. Let's talk about balance. Independence doesn't mean shutting him out. It means creating a dynamic where you're both growing individually while still coming together. When you have your own life, it naturally makes your time together more meaningful. He'll appreciate the moments you share because he knows they're not out of obligation. They're out of genuine desire. There's a psychological aspect to this, too. When a man sees that you're not constantly available, it triggers something primal. He starts to value your time more because it's clear that you value it yourself. This isn't about playing games or being aloof. It's about setting a standard for how you want to be treated. Imagine this scenario. You've had a full, fulfilling day pursuing your passions. When you finally sit down to talk to him or spend time together, you're glowing with energy. Your conversations are richer, your laughter is more genuine, and your presence is magnetic. Compare that to someone who's waiting by the phone all day, anxious for his attention. The difference is undeniable, isn't it? One of the most empowering aspects of independence is how it ties into Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and emotions. When you embrace this mindset, you stop worrying about what he's thinking or doing. Instead, you channel that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. And guess what? That's exactly what makes him think about you even more. Let's go deeper. Independence isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you carry yourself. It's the way you walk into a room with your head held high, the way you handle challenges with grace, and the way you communicate your needs without fear. Confidence is contagious, and when you embody it, people can't help but take notice. But here's the kicker. Independence isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's okay to have moments of doubt or to lean on others when you need support. In fact, vulnerability can be a beautiful complement to your independence. It shows him that while you're strong, you're also human. If you're wondering how to start cultivating independence, here's a practical tip. Set small goals for yourself that have nothing to do with him. Maybe it's mastering a new skill, trying a solo adventure, or simply dedicating time each day to something that brings you joy. These little wins build momentum, and before you know it, you'll feel more confident and self-assured than ever. Here's the beauty of being confidently independent. It's not just about attracting him. It's about attracting the life you deserve. When you prioritize your growth and happiness, everything else falls into place. You'll draw in relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your energy. And let's not forget the ripple effect. When he sees you thriving on your own, it inspires him to do the same. Together, you create a partnership built on mutual respect, admiration, and a shared sense of purpose. Isn't that what we all want? A connection that lifts both people higher? So, here's my question for you. What's one thing you can do this week to embrace your independence? Maybe it's diving into a project you've been putting off or saying yes to an opportunity that excites you. Whatever it is, take that step not just for him but for you. Remember, independence isn't just a trait, it's a way of life. And when you embody it, you'll not only make him think about you all the time, but you'll also fall in love with yourself all over again. And isn't that the ultimate goal? 4. Use subtle, playful flirting. Let's talk about the art of flirting, not the over-the-top kind you see in rom-coms, but the subtle, playful, and natural kind that leaves him grinning long after you've walked away. Flirting is an art form, a dance of words, glances, and touches that creates a spark between two people. The best part, when done right, it's effortless, fun, and leaves him thinking about you constantly. Here's a secret. Flirting isn't about seduction in the traditional sense. It's about creating a shared moment of lightheartedness, connection, and intrigue. When you flirt with authenticity, it shows him that you're confident, playful, and comfortable in your own skin. And that, my friend, is irresistible. So, how do you master this art? It's all about finding the balance between being playful and genuine. Let's dive into some techniques that will elevate your flirting game. Start with your eyes. They're your most powerful tool in sparking attraction. Think about it. How often do we hold eye contact with people in our day-to-day lives? Not often enough. The next time you're talking to him, let your gaze linger just a second longer than usual. Pair it with a slight smile, and you've already created an electric moment without saying a word. Now, let's talk about teasing. Gentle, playful teasing is one of the easiest ways to build rapport and keep the conversation light. For instance, if he mentions something quirky he does, you could say with a smirk, "Oh, so you're one of those people." The key is to keep it fun and never mean-spirited. The goal is to make him laugh and feel comfortable, not to criticize or put him on the defensive. And then there's the power of touch. A casual touch can create a burst of chemistry without being overbearing. Imagine this, you're laughing at something he said, and in the moment, you lightly touch his arm or shoulder. It's brief, it's natural, and it sends a subtle signal of interest. He'll remember that touch long after the conversation ends. Flirting is also about how you talk. Your tone of voice can make a huge difference. Try lowering your voice slightly when you're saying something playful or intriguing. It adds a layer of intimacy to the conversation and draws him in. Pair this with your body language, leaning in just a little, tilting your head as you listen, and you're creating a magnetic connection. One of the most underrated aspects of flirting is showing genuine interest. People love to feel seen and understood. When you ask him thoughtful questions or respond with enthusiasm to his stories, it shows that you're paying attention. For instance, if he shares something he's passionate about, lean into that conversation and say something like, "That's so interesting. Tell me more." It's not just flattering, it deepens the bond between you. But remember, the best flirting is rooted in confidence. It's not about trying too hard or forcing a connection. It's about knowing your worth and having fun with the moment. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or bold. It means embracing who you are and letting that shine through. When you're comfortable with yourself, flirting becomes second nature. Now, let's talk about what happens after the interaction. The best flirting leaves a little bit of mystery. It's about knowing when to step back and let him come to you. Maybe you're having a great conversation, but you end it on a high note and say, "I have to run, but let's continue this another time." This creates anticipation and gives him something to look forward to. Here's the thing, flirting isn't just about making him think about you. It's also about making you feel amazing. It's a reminder that you're fun, magnetic, and in control of your energy. When you flirt with authenticity and playfulness, you're not just creating a spark. You're igniting a fire that keeps burning long after the moment has passed. So, let's put this into action. The next time you're with him, try one of these techniques. Hold his gaze, tease him playfully, or let your touch linger for just a moment. You'll be amazed at how such small gestures can create a lasting impact. And if you're loving these tips so far, let me know. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments if you're finding this helpful. I'd love to hear which of these flirting techniques you're excited to try. Don't forget to subscribe because the secrets we're sharing here are just the beginning. When you hit that subscribe button, you're not just getting tips. You're stepping into a community of confident, radiant women who are transforming the way they approach love and connection. Flirting is an art you can master, and when you do, you'll not only make him think about you all the time, but you'll also unlock a version of yourself that's bold, playful, and undeniably magnetic. Are you ready to light that spark? Let's keep going because there's so much more to explore. 5. Harness the power of scarcity. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how much we value what feels rare or limited? It's human nature. We crave what isn't always within our grasp, and when it comes to relationships, this same principle applies. Scarcity, when used correctly, can make a man think about you constantly. But don't get me wrong, this isn't about playing games or withholding affection. It's about creating a dynamic where your presence feels special, not routine. When you're always available, responding instantly to texts, saying yes to every plan, or rearranging your life around him, it sends a subconscious signal that you'll always be there. While that might sound like a good thing, it can actually dull his sense of urgency and appreciation. Why chase something he feels he already has? Now, imagine this. You're busy living your life, pursuing your goals, and enjoying your passions. You're not ignoring him, you're simply prioritizing yourself. When he texts, you respond, but not instantly. When he asks to meet, you're excited, but you don't drop everything to make it happen. This creates a sense of balance, a rhythm where your time is valuable, and he learns to appreciate it. Scarcity isn't about disappearing or being distant. It's about embracing your independence and making space for him to miss you. When you're not constantly available, it gives him time to think about you, to wonder what you're doing, and to anticipate your next interaction. Here's where the power of scarcity really shines. It amplifies the quality of the moments you do share. Think about it. When something feels rare or exclusive, we treasure it more. Your time and attention should feel like a gift, not something he takes for granted. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means being intentional about how you invest your energy. Let's break this down further. One way to create healthy scarcity is to focus on your own life. What are your passions, goals, and hobbies? When you're fully engaged in your own world, you naturally become less available, not because you're trying to prove a point, but because you're genuinely busy cultivating a life you love. Another subtle way to use scarcity is to pace your communication. For instance, if he texts you, take a moment before replying. Not because you're calculating your response time, but because you're centered in your own flow. Maybe you're at the gym, deep into a book, or out with friends. By not always being instantly reachable, you're signaling that you have a full, vibrant life that he's eager to be a part of. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of scarcity. When you're scarce in the right way, it makes your affection more meaningful. If you're constantly showering him with compliments or attention, they can lose their impact over time. But when you choose your moments carefully, when you surprise him with a heartfelt message or an unexpected gesture, it carries more weight. He'll not only notice, he'll remember. Scarcity also creates an air of mystery. When you're not always available, it gives him space to wonder about you. What's she doing right now? Who is she spending time with? That sense of curiosity can be incredibly magnetic. It keeps you on his mind even when you're not around. Here's an important point to remember. Scarcity isn't about manipulation. It's about respect. Respect for yourself, your time, and your boundaries. When you set these boundaries, you're teaching him how to value and appreciate you. And the best part, this kind of dynamic builds mutual respect and admiration, which are the foundations of a healthy, lasting connection. Let's address a potential concern. What if he loses interest because I'm not always available? Here's the truth. If someone pulls away because you're prioritizing yourself, they're not the right person for you. The right one will not only appreciate your independence, he'll be drawn to it. Scarcity weeds out those who aren't truly invested while deepening the connection with those who are. Think of scarcity as the seasoning to your relationship. Too much, and it can create distance. Too little, and things might feel flat. But when applied in the right measure, it adds just the right amount of intrigue, excitement, and value. So, take a moment to reflect. Are you creating space in your relationship for him to miss you? Are you valuing your own time and energy? If not, now is the perfect time to start. Because when you harness the power of scarcity, you're not just making him think about you. You're elevating the connection to something richer, deeper, and more meaningful. Stay tuned because there's so much more to uncover about what makes you unforgettable in his mind. The best is yet to come. 6. Show genuine appreciation and respect. Let's take a moment to explore something powerful, something so often overlooked yet so crucial in any relationship: appreciation and respect. These two elements have the power to leave a lasting impression on a man's heart and mind. And when you do this authentically, he won't just think about you, he'll feel grateful for you. Think about it. How often do you truly feel seen and appreciated by others? Not just for the big things, but for the small, everyday efforts that often go unnoticed. Now, flip that perspective and apply it to him. When you show him that you see value and respect who he is, not just as a partner but as a person, you're creating a bond that's rare and deeply meaningful. Here's a secret. Appreciation isn't about empty flattery. It's not about showering him with generic compliments like "you're so great" or "you're the best." It's about being specific and intentional. When you notice the little things, his kindness, his sense of humor, the way he handles challenges, it shows that you're paying attention. For example, imagine he shares a story about helping a friend move last weekend. Instead of just saying, "That's nice," you could say, "I love how generous you are with your time." It's one of the things that makes you so special. That level of specificity makes your words resonate. He'll remember them, replay them, and associate those positive feelings with you. Respect works in much the same way. It's about acknowledging his strengths, supporting his goals, and giving him the space to be himself. Men, like women, want to feel valued for who they are, not just for what they can do for you. When you respect his opinions, celebrate his achievements, and stand by him during tough times, you're reinforcing a foundation of trust and admiration. Here's where things get even more interesting. When you show genuine appreciation and respect, it often inspires him to reciprocate. He'll naturally start paying more attention to the things he admires about you. This creates a positive feedback loop where both of you feel valued, seen, and supported. But let's dig a little deeper. Showing appreciation isn't just about words, it's also about actions. For instance, if he's been working hard on a project, surprise him with something thoughtful, a small gift, his favorite meal, or even just a handwritten note saying, "I see how hard you've been working, and I'm so proud of you." These gestures don't have to be grand, they just have to come from the heart. Respect also means giving him space when he needs it. Maybe he's had a rough day and needs time to decompress. Instead of pushing for attention, let him know you're there if he needs you and give him room to breathe. This balance of presence and patience shows emotional maturity, which is incredibly attractive. Now, I want to share an advanced tip. Use your words to reflect his unique qualities back to him. This isn't just about complimenting him, it's about highlighting the traits that make him stand out. For instance, if he's particularly good at solving problems, you might say, "I love how calm and collected you are when things get tough." It's inspiring. These kinds of comments stick because they're rooted in truth and make him feel truly seen. Here's something beautiful about this dynamic. It aligns with Stoicism. In Stoicism, the focus is on gratitude for the things and people that enrich our lives. By showing appreciation for him, you're not only making him feel valued, but you're also cultivating a mindset of gratitude within yourself. And gratitude, as we know, is one of the most powerful emotions for creating a fulfilling life. So, let me ask you, when was the last time you made someone feel truly appreciated? When was the last time you noticed the little things that often go unnoticed? If it's been a while, now is the perfect time to start. Not just because it makes him think about you, but because it fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. And if you're enjoying these insights, I'd love to hear from you. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments if these tips are resonating with you. Your feedback means the world to me and helps me bring even more valuable content to this amazing community. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you're joining a growing circle of confident, radiant women who are learning how to build connections that last. Together, we're creating a space where love, self-worth, and empowerment thrive. So, here's your challenge for this week. Find a moment to genuinely appreciate something about him, whether it's through words, actions, or a simple gesture. Let him know that you see and value him, and watch what happens next. You just might find that his thoughts start circling back to you more than ever. Ready for the next secret? Let's keep going because there's so much more to discover about the art of connection and attraction. 7. Be memorable through your uniqueness. What makes you unforgettable? Is it the way you laugh, the stories you tell, or that one quirky habit you have that others secretly adore? When it comes to making a man think about you all the time, the secret lies in embracing and celebrating your uniqueness. There's only one you, and the more you lean into that, the more magnetic you become. Think about this. We're naturally drawn to what feels different, rare, and authentic. It's not perfection that captivates people, it's individuality. When you own the traits that set you apart, you're creating a blueprint in his mind that no one else can replicate. Let's start with the power of embracing your quirks. Maybe you have an unusual sense of humor, a deep love for an obscure hobby, or a passion that lights you up every time you talk about it. Instead of hiding these parts of yourself, let them shine. These quirks make you human, relatable, and memorable. They show him that you're comfortable in your skin, and that kind of confidence is intoxicating. For instance, imagine sharing a story about how you've been learning to salsa dance, even though you keep stepping on your partner's toes, or maybe it's about the time you tried to bake a cake and ended up with a kitchen experiment. These moments of authenticity make you real, approachable, and endlessly fascinating. Now, let's talk about your passions. What sets your soul on fire? Is it painting, writing, running marathons, or diving into deep conversations about the universe? When you share these parts of yourself with enthusiasm, it's contagious. Your passion becomes a spark that ignites curiosity and admiration in him. He'll see you as someone who's alive, vibrant, and unafraid to chase what matters most. But here's the thing, uniqueness isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you make others feel. Maybe it's the way you listen intently when he's talking, the way you remember the small details he shares, or the way you can turn an ordinary moment into something special. These subtle yet powerful traits create a connection that lingers in his mind long after you've said goodbye. There's also a sensory element to being unforgettable. This is where the concept of emotional anchoring ties in. Consider choosing a signature scent, a perfume that becomes uniquely yours in his mind. Every time he catches a hint of that fragrance, even if you're not around, it brings you back to him. Or maybe it's a piece of jewelry you always wear, a particular color you gravitate toward, or a song that reminds him of you. These little details create a sensory imprint that deepens your presence in his thoughts. Another layer of being memorable is storytelling. We all have stories, moments of triumph, hilarity, or even vulnerability, that shape who we are. Sharing these stories with him, especially the ones that reflect your character, values, or dreams, creates an emotional connection. For example, you might tell him about the time you traveled solo and learned something life-changing about yourself, or about a family tradition that means the world to you. These stories add depth and dimension to who you are in his eyes. Let's not forget the importance of self-expression. Your style, your voice, and even the way you move can all reflect your individuality. Are you someone who loves bold, vibrant colors, or do you gravitate toward minimalist elegance? Do you laugh with abandon or smile with subtlety? These are all parts of your unique signature. When you express yourself authentically, you create a lasting impression that's impossible to replicate. Being memorable also requires a certain mindset. It's about stepping into your power and letting go of the need to conform or compare. When you stop worrying about what others think and start embracing who you truly are, you radiate confidence. And that kind of authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in without effort. Here's a beautiful thing about uniqueness. It aligns perfectly with Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control, and nothing is more within your control than how you express and celebrate your individuality. By embracing your unique qualities, you're embodying self-mastery and authenticity, traits that not only make you memorable but also inspire others to be themselves. If you're wondering how to start showcasing your uniqueness, here's a simple tip. Reflect on what makes you happiest and most fulfilled. What do you love about yourself? What are the traits or habits that make you smile? Once you identify these things, let them shine. For example, if you're passionate about music, share your favorite songs or invite him to a live show. If you love baking, surprise him with a treat you made. These gestures don't just show who you are, they create shared experiences that deepen the connection. Ultimately, being memorable isn't about trying to be different for the sake of it. It's about being unapologetically you. When you own your story, your quirks, and your passions, you become someone he can't stop thinking about. Why? Because you're not just another face in the crowd. You're the one who stands out, the one who makes him feel something he can't quite put into words. So, lean into your uniqueness, celebrate it, and watch as he becomes captivated by the authentic, one-of-a-kind woman that you are. Because at the end of the day, the greatest gift you can give someone is the real you, and that's unforgettable. 8. Build an emotional connection through vulnerability. What if I told you that one of the most powerful ways to make a man think about you all the time isn't about being perfect or mysterious, but about being vulnerable? Yes, vulnerability. It's the doorway to emotional connection, the kind that lingers in his mind long after you're gone. When you allow him to see the real you, the fears, the dreams, the struggles, it creates a bond that goes far deeper than surface attraction. Now, I know the word vulnerability can feel intimidating. Maybe you're worried about being too open or revealing too much. But here's the truth. Vulnerability isn't about oversharing or baring your soul all at once. It's about letting him in piece by piece and inviting him to do the same. Think about it. Have you ever had a conversation with someone where they shared something deeply personal and it instantly made you feel closer to them? That's the magic of vulnerability. It breaks down walls, builds trust, and makes us feel truly seen. And when you create that kind of emotional connection with him, you'll be on his mind in ways no one else ever has. So, how do you bring vulnerability into your interactions? It starts with authenticity. Share stories or moments that reveal your true self, your values, your experiences, and the things that have shaped you. For example, You might talk about a challenge you've overcome and how it taught you something about resilience, or you might share a dream you've always had and why it's so important to you. When you're open about your own journey, it creates a safe space for him to share his as well. This mutual exchange of vulnerability is what deepens the connection. He'll start to see you as someone he can trust, someone who understands him in a way others don't. And that kind of emotional bond is unforgettable. But vulnerability isn't just about the big, heavy conversations. It's also about the little moments where you let your guard down. Maybe it's admitting that you're nervous before a big presentation or laughing at yourself when something doesn't go as planned. These moments show him that you're human, relatable, and unafraid to be real. Here's an advanced tip. Ask thoughtful, open-ended questions that encourage vulnerability instead of the usual small talk. Try asking things like, what's something you've always wanted to do but haven't yet? Or, what's one experience that really changed how you see the world? Questions like these create opportunities for meaningful conversations that he'll remember. And don't underestimate the power of listening. When he does open up, give him your full attention. Resist the urge to jump in with advice or a similar story. Just listen, acknowledge his feelings, and let him know you appreciate his openness. Something as simple as saying, "Thank you for sharing that with me. It means a lot," can make a huge impact. Now, let's talk about balancing vulnerability with strength. While it's important to be open, it's equally important to show that you're resilient and grounded. Vulnerability isn't about being overly emotional or dependent. It's about being real while still standing in your power. This balance makes you not only approachable but also deeply inspiring. Think about the kind of connection you want to build with him. Is it one where you're both guarded, keeping things superficial? Or is it one where you both feel free to be yourselves, flaws and all? The latter is where real intimacy begins, and it's what will make you unforgettable to him. Here's a beautiful thing about vulnerability. It doesn't just deepen your connection with him. It also strengthens your connection with yourself. When you allow yourself to be seen, you're embracing self-acceptance. You're saying, "This is me, and I'm enough." And that kind of self-confidence is incredibly attractive. So, here's your challenge. The next time you're with him, find a moment to share something personal. It doesn't have to be a big, dramatic revelation, just something that gives him a glimpse of your inner world. Watch how it shifts the dynamic, how it opens the door to deeper conversations and mutual trust. If this resonates with you, let me know. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments if you're ready to embrace vulnerability and build emotional connections that last. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you're not just learning tips and tricks, you're stepping into a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and meaningful relationships. Join our growing community of women who are transforming the way they approach love and connection. Remember, vulnerability isn't a risk, it's an opportunity. And when you embrace it, you'll not only make him think about you, you'll create a connection that stands the test of time. Are you ready to take that step? Let's keep going because there's even more to uncover on this journey. 9. End with the importance of patience and consistency. Let's pause for a moment and talk about something often overlooked but incredibly powerful: patience and consistency. In a world that moves so fast, where instant gratification seems to be the norm, the ability to cultivate patience and maintain consistency in how you present yourself is a rare and magnetic quality. It's what sets you apart, not just in his mind but in life. Think about this: true connection and attraction aren't built overnight. They grow gradually through layers of shared experiences, emotions, and trust. When you rush the process, you risk creating something shallow or fleeting. But when you approach relationships with patience, you're allowing something real to take root, a bond that isn't easily shaken. Patience starts with understanding that you don't need to force things. You don't need to overthink every interaction or constantly seek reassurance. Instead, trust that the energy you're putting out, the confidence, the vulnerability, the uniqueness, is enough. Trust that you are enough. Consistency, on the other hand, is about showing up as your authentic self time and time again. It's about being dependable, not in a rigid or predictable way, but in a way that builds trust and familiarity. He doesn't need to guess who you are or what you stand for because you've shown him consistently that you are genuine, grounded, and true to yourself. Let me ask you, have you ever been drawn to someone who was hot and cold, someone whose behavior felt unpredictable? It's unsettling, isn't it? Now, think about the opposite. Someone whose energy feels steady, whose actions match their words, and whose presence feels like a safe space. That's what consistency creates, a sense of reliability that's deeply attractive. But let's address the elephant in the room. Patience and consistency can feel challenging, especially when you're excited about someone or uncertain about where things are going. It's easy to want to speed things up or to overanalyze every little detail. Here's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and emotions, while letting go of the things we can't. When you embrace this mindset, you stop worrying about his every move and start focusing on your own growth and happiness. You become centered, calm, and grounded, and that energy is incredibly compelling. Let's explore how patience and consistency look in practice. Imagine you've had a great conversation with him, and now you're waiting for him to text you. Instead of obsessively checking your phone, you carry on with your day, knowing that you've left a positive impression. You trust that if he's interested, he'll reach out, and if he doesn't, it's not a reflection of your worth. Think about consistency in how you communicate. When you're clear and honest about your feelings and intentions, you're setting a standard for the relationship. You're showing him that you're someone who values transparency and authenticity. Over time, this builds a foundation of trust that makes him feel safe and secure with you. There's also a powerful emotional aspect to this. Patience and consistency create a sense of stability, not just for him but for you as well. When you're patient, you're giving yourself the space to grow, to learn, and to enjoy the journey. When you're consistent, you're reinforcing your own sense of self-worth by staying true to who you are. One of the most beautiful things about patience and consistency is that they allow love to unfold naturally. Instead of trying to control or manipulate the outcome, you're letting things evolve at their own pace. This creates a dynamic that feels organic, genuine, and deeply satisfying. Here's an important reminder. Patience doesn't mean waiting passively, and consistency doesn't mean being boring. Patience is about trusting the process while staying engaged in your own life. Consistency is about being dependable while still keeping things fresh and exciting. Together, they create a balance that keeps the connection alive and thriving. So, as you move forward in your journey, remember this: you don't need to rush or force anything. Trust that the energy you've cultivated, the confidence, the uniqueness, the emotional depth, is enough to keep him thinking about you. Trust that by showing up consistently and authentically, you're creating a connection that's real and lasting. Patience and consistency aren't just strategies, they're mindsets. They're about believing in yourself, valuing your own journey, and allowing love to unfold in its own time. And when you embrace these qualities, you're not just making him think about you. You're creating a relationship that stands the test of time. So, take a deep breath, stay true to yourself, and trust the process. Because the best connections, the ones that truly matter, are always worth the wait. Spicy Lady Sigma females, we've reached the end of this journey, but really, it's only the beginning. You now have 9 powerful steps to not only make him think about you all the time, but to create a connection so authentic and meaningful that it leaves a lasting imprint on his heart and mind. From the lure of curiosity to the depth of vulnerability, from embracing your uniqueness to cultivating patience and consistency, each step brings you closer to becoming the kind of woman who is unforgettable, not because of games, but because of your truth. But let's be real, this isn't just about him. It's about you. Every strategy, every insight we've explored is ultimately about helping you step into your power. It's about embracing the radiant, confident, and unique woman you are. When you do that, when you own your story, your worth, and your energy, you become magnetic not only to him but to everyone around you. So, what's next? It's time to take these steps and bring them into your life. Start small. Maybe you focus on cultivating curiosity this week, or practicing the art of emotional anchoring. Maybe you dive into your passions or work on embracing patience in your relationships. The beauty of these steps is that they're not quick fixes, they're tools for lifelong empowerment. And here's the best part: you're not alone in this journey. This community, our community, is here to support and inspire you every step of the way. Together, we're rewriting the way women approach love, connection, and self-worth. If this video resonated with you, let it be your starting point. Take these tools, make them your own, and watch as your relationships and your confidence transform in ways you never thought possible. Lastly, if you loved what we've shared today, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder of how powerful they are. And if you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, join our growing circle of strong, confident women building connections that truly matter. Thank you for being here, for trusting me with your journey, and for stepping into your power. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay true to who you are, and remember that you are more than enough. Here's to love, self-discovery, and living life unapologetically. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies, make life beautiful. See you in our next video. Take care.